Everybody, it's February 7th, 2022, and I'm not going to try to bore you with a reading of the whole investigation report, but I just want to let you know that from the heading, Request for Investigation to the Town of Anson, all the employees, and the Select Board, the Fire Department, request for investigation into Somerset County Sheriff's Department, and all involved in the burning and condemning of my home on 383 North New Portland Road, North Anson, Maine. You see, May 2nd, I met with Philip. The taxes were still in his name. I had gone to the probate, asked them the information, find out that Philip still owns the house. It was all settled. They had tried to do a bank repo, whatever, foreclosure on it back in 2017. But Philip's a little bit smarter than that, and he takes care of his business. So, knowing that, the home stayed empty. It was in very good, clean, pristine condition, other than the damage that the people had done previously after all these frivolous charges were put on him. And I say frivolous because a 70-year-old man, never been charged with anything in his fucking life. Somebody from across the street moves in from out of state, and all of a sudden they become friends with the kids, become friends with kids, knowing that the school grooms to take kids away, and parents go to jail for a long stay, okay? No matter how they can do it, they do it. So knowing that, I asked for an investigation into the Smalls across the road at 382 North New Portland Road, and all of their investigative statements. Now, knowing that they're all on silly pills, mental health services and such like that, the kids, the mother, whatever, I think she is, but I know that her kids got issues, and this is the one that they claim got abused and was so scared she wouldn't come out of her room. All these fucking retarded. Now, first of all, a 5-year-old or even an 8-year-old isn't going to know somebody that went away fucking many years ago if it wasn't for the fact that the parents are still feeding them the information and saying, hey, this is what he looks like, blah, blah, blah. That person ain't going on your fucking property, and he has the right to ride on the fucking state highway. So who are you to keep on that? It sounds narcissistic to me and a troublemaking fucking bitch, if you really want to know. So anyways, the weekend of their wedding, I believe it was the weekend of their wedding, which was the same weekend of Memorial Weekend, she was having an issue with the fact that her husband had offered to fix my vehicle. Well, maybe she threatened that she wasn't going to marry him, or she was going to turn him in for all the fraudulent acts. But, you know, they grew up on welfare, okay? He's always worked. They've lived together. Now that the kids are grown, they got married. So they got mad because I said, I'm going to turn your asses in. Anybody that's on welfare and defrauded the system, you better know that I'm making calls on you, okay? Because I'm tired of all this bullshit. Now, y'all fraudulently got together, all of you that did, and you continue to harass my residents. Somebody obviously stolen and is molesting my chickens if they're already having eggs. So nobody would ever say who stole my chickens. Somerset County Sheriff's Department refused to take reports. There were other callers that called in about loud noises, barking dogs, all kinds of shit, and they never wanted to do anything again. Maybe that's because Gertie across the street, Gertie's upholstery, who doesn't know how to take care of her dog. She never knew how to take care of her kids when we were growing up as adults, raising our families. So with that being said, that's my opinion, but it's the truth, because I've seen her beat on that dog because she can't control him. And she's just something else. She's a raging alcoholic. And yeah, so she did all kinds of stupid shit. But it must be that she's, well, we know that her dead husband was related to one of the police, whatever, he's in with the state police or whatever, he's an inspector or whatever. Anyways, she gloats about that and how she gets away with stuff. Must be because she spread her nasty legs for him. However, Robert Burndell from Gardner, you're so lucky you got away from her. I'm glad you stuck with your girlfriend. You probably should have taken a whole lot more from her that you could have, you know. I'm just saying. Anyways, yeah. So then I brought Jimmy Vick near to light about being my mother's other daughter's father, and they didn't like that. Then the Vic near store, that must be suffering a little bit because nobody's got any money in the storm that comes in and the cold and all that stuff. Nobody wanted to do anything in that town to help anybody. They tore up the road. They didn't know how to fix it. So when I mentioned it, they got all defensive. Then Western Maine DOT went by. Now, Tim from Farmington Wilton DOT, I got him on audio record still. Even though they deleted my account, I've still got him on audio record telling me that The trucks weren't even supposed to be up there. Nobody was supposed to be up on that road working that day. So why'd they come up and spread yellow, powdery debris that poisoned my dog and my food? Okay, I still get all that information as well. So as much as you try to delete, I'm still going to share the information. Now I'm standing out during the days at Walmart and wherever and handing out the information so everybody knows what you've all done. Okay, so knowing that the Anson Town office, the administrator refused to put my business registry for House for Justice. Now, if you look it up on Google, you're going to find out. Look up House for Justice. You're going to see that my L3C is licensed to where? 383 North New Portland Road, North Anson, Maine, 04958. I didn't change the address on my business registry. Neither did I change my address of where I lived. Okay? So with that being said, again, in the state of Maine, you have a 30-day notice to give the intent. So they must have already had it set up between them. Janine gets power of attorney within the same amount of time. They have her sign to condemn the home, and then they burned it within 14 days. Not given 14 days for anybody to change their mind, or they probably should have thought about it and contacted me, right? Now, they didn't contact me, but somehow the administrator of the town of Anson contacted a friend of mine and said that they could have my stuff. Well, they were able to get my clothes, but who's to say that was my camper? Just because I had possession of it doesn't mean that it was still mine. Now I have to borrow my old camper that the town of Anson gave to somebody else to take off the property, because you see, that camper, technically, I had already sold it, transferred ownership of it to somebody else, and I have proof of that. So when the town of Anson had somebody go to that house that I reside in and had full intent, everybody knew that I had tried to pay on the taxes and they were denied, and I still haven't gotten that money order back, but I know it still hasn't been cashed, has it, town of Anson? Okay, so knowing that I made effort to pay on the taxes before all of this happened, is that why it happened? Knowing that I was on a mission, I was working out of state when they burned my home down, when they posted it condemned. Isn't that illegal? So why is it that the police aren't doing anything about it? Isn't that illegal? Yes, it is. And it's a violation of the mission statement, because why? The illegal part would be aiding and abetting in a crime, okay? And I'm going to tell you what that is. 28 USC 455 is a statute of crime, interference without due process. USC 242 1983 is violation of due process, which means nobody told me that they were condemning the home that I live in. And the town office employee lied to the American Red Cross and said that I didn't live there, as well as she keeps on lying to everybody else and saying I didn't live in that home. Who the fuck are you to say that I didn't live there? Okay? And then 18 USC 241 intimidation tactics, that would be what Skowhegan Sheriff's Department's doing by handing me a cease harassment order to a place that I didn't disclose where I was at. But they sent the paperwork to me, and that's another situation we're going to get to. 18 U.S.C. 1503, obstruction of justice. Yeah, they all knew that I had intent to take fingerprints and footprints, and that I had, what? Tree cams on my property. So that would be, wouldn't it be, why all of my home got burned and all of the outer buildings got burned? Nothing about it had to be condemned, but they burned it all. So knowing that they burned it all, and knowing that I had previously posted about the Somerset County deputy, that gay-looking guy, my opinion, continued to, not only did he enter my home illegally, but he walked around the property, so they're trying to cover up his tracks, right? That's obstruction of justice. 18 U.S.C. 1505, obstruction of congressional administration. Well, again, that's what the Anson Town office did. Witness tampering, 18 U.S.C. 1512. Well, when you burned my evidence in my home, that's witness tampering, because I'm a witness against the city and the state and the government. 18 U.S.C. 1513, witness retaliation. I just said it, because I'm a witness, I'm a whistleblower. 18 U.S.C. 371, conspired to defraud United States. That's what the town of Anson did. Yes, they did, when they burned my home. And the United States Postal Service in North Anson fucking with my mail. USC 18 USC 241 is conspiracy. That's what they all did, okay? They conspired to organize a crime to try to get me to move out of the home, and they couldn't get me to move out, so they burned me out. And now they lie about it, so we're filing lawsuit. Color of law is, again, Somerset County Sheriff's Department, Waterville PD, Maine State Police, and Vermont all working together against me, okay? Now then we go to the mail, 18 USC 1700. That means that you shouldn't have tampered with my mail, 39 USC 403 and 665. You should not probably have tampered with my mail because, you see, even though you burned my home, I have proof from all the agencies and clients that get their mail returned to sender, when it was returned to sender, who returned it, and why it was returned. Because I never put in a change of address, and therefore you have no business sending my mail back. You should have contacted me about that first, right? So I have the right to vote, but because you wanted to try to make me a non-resident in North Anson, well, that's not working very well, because I'm still going to register to vote, and I'm going to, what? Run for State Rep 22. How about that? Larry Dunphy told me I should. And who better to listen to, right? One of your fucking boys that, you know, I think he's a pedophile too, and that's why he gets so upset with me, is because I said it. Right to join political party? Yeah, so again, I have the right to run for representative. Right to participate in political demonstrations? Yep, so I'm going to start doing that. And that's all the United States Postal Service sending all of my mail back, okay? So that there's all the reasons why they could potentially be in trouble, and they request to be investigated. Right to run for office, and again, repeat of history. So all this information gets sent out to, included in my lawsuits are Arnold Luce, Brenda Garland, John Bryant, Jim Smith, Angela Manzer, and of course, you know, the infamous Murray. Anyways, you got human rights, which was born to be free and equal. I have the right, okay, to do what I want to do. Don't discriminate against me because I'm a Quaker and you burned my Quaker meeting place, okay, which was my home. Right to life? Yeah, I just told you what you did. No slavery? That doesn't matter. No torture? That doesn't matter. Rights everywhere I go? Yeah, so you violated those, Anson, North Anson, and the town of, you know, the county of Somerset in the state of Maine. All equal before law? Yeah, so again, you violated me, all of you I just mentioned. Human rights protected by law? Yeah, Somerset County Sheriff's Department, state of Maine, you all violated me. No unfair detainment? Yeah, you all violated me. Right to trial? Y'all violated me. Innocent till proven guilty? You've all violated me. Right to privacy? You've all violated me when you illegally searched my home and then you seized it by fire. Freedom to move? You violated me. Right to seek a safe place to live? You violated me. Right to a nationality? You violated me because I'm indigenous and you continue to discriminate against me. Right to marriage and family? Yeah, y'all violated me. By destroying the home that belonged to my uncle. And I can say he's my uncle because from all my years of growing up, he was told to me that he was my uncle. Right to your own things? You violated me. You burned me out of my home. Freedom of thought? You tried to deter that by silencing me, by making comments, complaints, and having my YouTube deleted and my Facebook suspended, all that shit. Yeah, so freedom of thought, freedom of expression, right to public assembly, right to democracy. You've all violated me. Social Security, yeah, you violated me there too. Workers' rights, yeah, you violated me when you burned my home down, which had the housing of my office in it for House for Justice. Those are workers' rights. Right to pay because you didn't allow me to make my own money. You hindered me from doing that. Shelter for all. In food, you violated me. Anson, North Anson, the county of Somerset, and the state of Maine. Right to education. Yeah, I was teaching people their right of revolution and the right to the Constitution and the civil rights, human rights, and disability rights. And as me teaching that and learning from them, you violated my right to education. Copyright, yeah, you burned all that stuff. A fair and free world, you violated me. Responsibility, you deny it, so you're violating. And then no one can take away your human rights. But you see, they violated my rights, which is what? Taking away my rights. So therefore, those are just some of your rights that I just read to you. And I'm going to go over all of them with you at some point. But with that being said, those are the reasons why North Anson and Anson Town, altogether in Somerset and the state of Maine, they should have never burned me out of my home. With all this information, I'm taking it to the U.S. Attorney General's office. It's already been sent out. It's been sent out by USPS. It's been sent out by email. But the hard copy is going by hand with my formal signature to Washington, D.C. Y'all have a nice day.